So now we have a basic understanding of what a system is and what a surrounding is. Now, to talk about a system, we need to be clear with what we are talking about. Okay, let me put it this way. Say we have a person whom we have to discuss about, or say, okay, let me put it this way. If we want to talk about a car, right? So, not a good, let me try that again. Okay, so if I want to understand about this car, I'm not a big, yeah, I don't know much about all of this, but I'll just take a guess. So first is in 3 seconds. If I do talk to my students, they tell within 3 seconds it can go to 120 kilometer per hour. That is one measurement. Then kids might not talk about this, but fuel efficiency, right? Fuel efficiency is one thing that it does talk. For 1 liter, how many kilometers per liter, right? Then we talk about cost, of course. Then we talk about other technical things also. So point is, there are quite a few things that we can talk about, right? Okay. So to describe or to compare two things, if I have one more car which we are looking at, and we are looking at this, whatever this opens up and all of that. Again, not very, I don't know the words for this, which closes and opens and all of those. So if I'm looking at buying such a car and I'm comparing two cars to company, right? These are some of the factors that we might look at. These are the way of communicating. I can call up the dealer and ask them what exactly the features are, right? So again, these are the things that is important to me, and I'll be talking about that, for example, right? Same way to talk about a system per se. Okay, we understood about system and surrounding. So it's all about system, end of it, is it not? To talk about a system, we need to standardize few things. And that's what we are doing in this video. To have a conversation about any physical thing, right? In physics, if you want to have a conversation, we need to have all of this. That is property, state variable, and state. So we need to understand all of this. Properties are nothing but all the things that you can measure for a given system. For example, say you have a traffic controller, right? A traffic controller, of course, you guys know it. I always switch to 6th grader mode. Not a ideal diagram, but say that's your a traffic controller. Okay. So they are, monitoring the planes and all of that, and guiding them towards landing and giving them permission for takeoff and all of that, is it not? So what are the things that they will be talking about? What are the properties that they might be talking about? The altitude, speed, heading, position, fuel level, all of these are the things that they will be having a chat about. These are all the possible things that they can chat about. Those are your properties for a air traffic controller. So a general definition is properties are characteristics that describes a system. All the possible characteristics actually. In thermal properties, it can be pressure, volume, temperature, many things. Actually, I should have listed more of it. That's the word properties mean. Okay, so you need to actually understand what properties means. It's all the possible measuring ways of measuring a system. Next, what is state variable? State variable is a subset of properties, right? A few measurements that are enough to describe the system completely. Okay, so technically, if I go back to this example, right, I need not, if I get a brochure, right? If I get a brochure from these two competitors, so they will have some standard set of things listed out. So I can compare them, right? Technically, we can fill up many pages, but they don't do that. They will try to optimize it. Within one brochure, things will be very clear. Again, people will not sit and read everything. They want, okay, within 5 minutes, I should be able to understand. There are many factors. So with a minimum set of information, I should be able to understand everything about it, everything important about this, right? That is your state variable. Properties include everything, right? If I happen to draw this with sets, this can be your properties. That's your state variable. But with state variable, I can derive everything else, right? So it is that you have that enough information to talk about the system completely. Property is all the possible way we can describe, while the state variable, the specific property needed to fix the state. That is, fix the state, that phrasing means fully define the system's condition. Okay, so be very clear, properties and state variable. This is important over here because I'll be using state variable and properties, mainly state variable, but yeah. So you need to understand what I'm talking about. So state variables are measurable quantities whose values specify the condition, that state of a system at a moment. The common thermodynamic state variables are pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy. This is your new variable. Enthalpy H. Then you have entropy S. So I didn't mention it last time. You did see H and S and all that, but I didn't. We still can't describe it because this it will be in time that we'll be using this. Internal energy, we'll start using it again. PV, T and U, all of this will be using it immediately. Heat, again we'll be using it. Work, yes. So all these are not state variable as they depend on the path. So this statement you will understand later. Just a small note. I don't want to explain it over here. Okay, it's actually a bit more complex. So that's state variable. In other fields, example of state variables like in mechanics, position and velocity, that would be enough for me to derive everything else, right? U and V and S and T and all of that will be enough for me to talk about all the things that is needed for a moving system per se. Circuit, voltage and current, ecology, population, nutrition level, each field uses state variable to describe where the state is. Now, one last term, that is the state or state of a system. State is at that moment of time, what are those values? Again, we know state variables. So if I take state variables and I tell you know what, at 10.4 seconds, what is the condition? What are the values of state variables? Now pick out each and every value, and that is your state. Okay, and that is your state of a system. State is nothing but what the system is like right now, what actual values of those key measurement. What's the actual value basically? State of a system is the state of the values of its state variables. Set of values of its state variables. Sorry, I'm kind of skimming it, not reading it exactly. So P, V and T at that moment, for example. So all in all, properties are all the things that you can measure. State variables are, you pick out few things from the properties and you're done. Right? Brochure scenario. State is the actual value, right? So basically, both have state variables listed in them. You know, mileage, cost, everything, both of them have their own state variables. Same state variables, for example. But the state is different. Means the values are different. Okay. So I hope you guys understood. It's quite simple. So this kind of summarizes everything. Yeah. Now it's time for you guys to pause, have a look, copy what makes sense to you guys.